Hello, I'm Alida Winternheimer, your writing coach at Word Essential. Today's Word Essential 60-second writing tip is all about reader empathy. If your reader doesn't empathize with your character, then he doesn't care about your character. And if he doesn't care about your character, then he doesn't care about your story, and you don't have a reader. And if you don't have a reader, well, you might still have a story, but that story is going to be a failure. So, how do you get your reader to empathize with your character? Let's look at what empathy means. Okay. This is the compact edition, by the way, and this is only half of it. All right, E. Okay, there we go, there's some E. Okay, yeah. Okay, empathy. Empathy, noun, means identification with and understanding of another's situation, feelings, and motives. So, okay. Your goal as a writer is always to make your reader identify with and understand your character's situation, feelings, and motives. If you do that, your reader will stay engaged with your character and invested in your story. That investment turns readers into fans. As you write, you need to always ask yourself, who cares? And that answer needs to always be the reader. How do you make sure your reader is most likely to empathize with your character? Well, by following the old adage, show, don't tell. You do that by bringing your character's experiences to life on the page, using specific sensory detail, effectively engaging metaphors and similes, and evoking palpable emotions. You need to embody your POV character as you write, and I have a video on that called Embody Your Character. Check that out. All right. Now, maybe this will be easier to understand with an example, but then what isn't easier to understand with an example? So here goes. A few weeks ago, I had an infection in my jaw. You know how old fillings eventually pull away from the tooth and then this like micro crack develops and bacteria gets in that crack? Bacteria are microscopic, so the crack can be microscopic as well, and there's nothing you can do about it. You don't even know you have a problem until the pain starts, and it really hurts. Now, if you've never had an infection in your head, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. The pain is excruciating, like all over. My face is killing me. I have a massive headache because of the pain. On top of this infection, I can't concentrate. I was sitting at my computer going, right? It was awful. Tylenol hardly had any effect. All right, now do you know what an infected tooth feels like? Do you really? It hurts a lot and that sucks, but how much are you empathizing with me, this character? Probably not much, because the description is pretty abstract. It's all removed from the actual experience. I'm telling you about my experience of this infection. I see a lot of writing like that. The reader tries to convey an experience by explaining it, but an explanation is not an experience. Neither is talking about it. To create reader empathy, you need to get inside that character and live the experience with her. Now, this is what happened when I sat down to write the pain as a story with a character I embodied. Note, this is third person. First person does not create empathy any more than any other person when you select your point of view. She woke at 4 in the morning. Sweat clung to her hairline, and her chest constricted, making her heart feel like its container was suddenly too small. The pain in her jaw intensified now that she was awake and fully aware of it, as though the dentist, the farrier actually, was inside her mouth, his filthy pliers gripping her tooth, yanking, always yanking. It's only a tooth, she thought. But would it be any easier to uproot a tree? Does the earth ache so? Tears came to her eyes, bidden by the intensity of her pain. If she had any emotion left in her, it was simple exhaustion. She pressed a hand to her face, but it did no good. There was no soothing a pain that overwhelmed her from within. The farrier's pliers would be a relief, because the tooth would eventually yield and the pain would have to end. This pain was unyielding, unending, like the torment of Prometheus. Now, do you see the difference? Your friends might think you're a little nuts if you tell them about your toothache by dropping into a fictional narrative about a farrier's pliers and Prometheus. But if you tell your readers about your character's toothache, the same way you would tell your friends, by explaining and describing it, you'll lose your readers. So let's distill this down into your 60-second writing tip. In order to write an effective, successful, impactful story, you need to create an experience on the page for your readers, one that gives them the opportunity to empathize with your character. To do that, you need to embody your point of view character. For more on this, see my video, Embodying Your Point of View Character. You need to create lived experiences on the page. Avoid explaining and talking about your character's experience and emotions. Use metaphors and similes to enrich the prose. As you write, ask yourself, who cares? The answer had better be the reader. And if it's not, revise that thing. Now remember, a story is not an anecdote. You cannot write prose the same way you talk to your friends because they're different mediums of communication. All right, that's today's Word Essential 60-second writing tip. I'm your writing coach, Alida. You can find this and all my other tips at wordessential.com/blog. And if you really want to know how to embody those characters, develop reader empathy, and create believable, emotive characters on the page, check out my book, The Storyworks Guide to Writing Character. It's available on Amazon. Have a great writing day. By the way, that infection, true story, really hurt.